What's up, flappers? So you likely clicked on this video as a means to understand and decide who you should pull for. But as a matter of fact, in this video, I hope to teach you the ways to evaluate whether or not a character is suitable for your team. I actually had another video planned for today, but I did not expect there was going to be so many people asking me for my opinion as to who they should pull for to fit their team. For me, it was very difficult to answer every single comment. So in this video, I'm going to teach you how you can evaluate characters to see if they will be suited for your team, and also which character you should be going for between Ganyu and Albedo. And of course, people, if she is your waifu, just go for it. I don't think any 5-star character is bad to pick up, and give that like button a nice moisty rub and subscribe if this ends up helping you. With that said, let's use Albedo as a basis for this and then compare him with Ganyu to see which one is more suited for you. Now, with any character, you have to identify their roles first. What is their role? What role? What role? Ask yourself this question. Any character that you are wanting to build, what is their role? The role I like to identify are main DPS, support DPS, healer, and elemental support. Of course, there are subcategories as well, such as under healer, you can have buffers, which is what BENNETT would be. But for this video, let's not go that deep, okay? So keep it simple. Let's assign a role for the character, and this can be the most difficult part, since oftentimes character can fit more than one role and even be forced into roles if you build them a certain way. But what I am talking about is their designated role. What were they designed for, and where they perform at their best in relation to the investment you put in. Now remember, in relation to the investment you put in. Now back to Albedo. I played him as both a support DPS, a main DPS, and an elemental support. Now note that you yourself do not have to test them yourself. Likely you will find content online of people testing these characters to help you make you understand how these characters work. Now the key is to not get baited into people who are testing and showing characters that they poured tens of thousands of resin into, because as it could look good and perform extremely well, you yourself likely will never be able to achieve that level of investment. So you want to find the characters that perform in their best position in relation to the investment you put in. Locate the ideal role first, and then we will move into elemental synergy. So for Albedo's case, through the 3 roles, he functioned best as a support DPS, and that's where I would place him in any of my teams going forward. For elemental synergy, you can take a look at this to get started. Remember that for certain synergies such as melt and vaporize, the order is important, so things can get slightly complicated, and it's not as simple as, oh, he's pyro, so therefore he has to be like this. For Albedo's case, when used as a support DPS, over 90% of his damage was Geo, which makes him really good for crystallize. So now we have a role and a reaction, which makes it much easier to start slotting him into teams. Let's try to pair him in a team with Razor. The reason I picked Razor is because not many people have talked about him and his pairing with Albedo, so it's a good way to test him with no other influence or bias. So with Razor, his attacks hit hard, but his attack speed is slower than a sword user. With decent burst uptime, Razor can also bring Electro into the picture, which could activate Albedo's Crystallize reaction. With Albedo's Isotoma, it procs every 2 seconds, which means if you miss the window, you will not be having maximum uptime. The idea with Albedo is, if you want him at maximum efficiency, you want to have damage on field every 2 seconds minimum. Razor is a solo carry, which means he is often ran as the sole carry of the team, so getting more damage on field would be required to make the best use of Albedo. Now this train of thought is all based on Albedo's role and his elemental synergy. We have deduced that with Razor, he alone cannot make the best use of Albedo's kit and would require help. So we need another unit to assist Razor in bringing more field damage in order to assure Albedo's efficiency, but at the same time would not require Razor to be subbed out while doing it. So what are we asking for? We're asking for off-field DPS, meaning we need a character who can do damage while being off-field, just like Albedo. And in comes FISCHL. This unit was ranked number 2 on my best F2P character list, and for good reason. Oftentimes when you need a specific role to be fulfilled, FISCHL will work, so if you leveled her up, you never need to worry about her getting benched. She always finds ways into your team. So with FISCHL on the team now, we can help Razor proc Albedo's skill with maximum efficiency. meaning we will be missing a healer. For Razor, he has Electro and he mainly does physical damage, so we need a Cryo to activate Super Conduct, and bam, in comes DIONA, or Chi-Chi if you have her, and there is our team, Razor, Albedo, DIONA, and FISCHL. And not only do we have Super Conduct, we also have High Voltage Resonance to help Razor get better burst uptime. So there it is. That's essentially how you slot a character into a team or build one around them. So let's take that and apply it onto Ganyu. Although she is not released yet, what is her role? Now, this one is still being debated amongst the community, so as of now, she currently has 3 roles. And without the character available, we cannot test her to see which one is most efficient, so let's just choose main DPS for the sake of this example. So Ganyu is going to be in the main DPS position and her element is Cryo. So with Cryo, you have Freeze, Superconduct, and Melt. Ideally, you can fit these reactions into your composition. So for Ganyu main DPS, of course, you will be playing around her zone control and charge shots. However, we have to think about her field time. Is she a sole carry, meaning is she your solo carry on the team and will be on the field all the time like Razor, or will she have to share field time with another DPS similar to Childe? So judging from Ganyu's kit, both can be achieved based on your team, so let's give 2 variations. First being Ganyu only main DPS, so you want to keep Ganyu on field and play around her crowd control. However, being a bow user, it's going to require good spacing and stamina management in endgames, such as the 12th floor of Abyss. Ideally, you can have free synergies to buy time for you to control the battlefield, so a character that can apply Hydro on enemies will be good. Let's try XINYAN support DPS. Also, with Ganyu, it would seem you are most of the time going to be dealing or applying Cryo on your enemies, so taking advantage of that and getting another Cryo on the team will give you Shattering Ice, and if you pair that with Blizzard Strayer, you can get 55% crit rate on frozen enemies. So in the healer or elemental support position, we would need a Cryo. Now that could either be Chi-Chi or DIONA healer or ZHONGLI support. For the sake of this, let's go with DIONA healer and find another support since it's much easier to use DIONA rather than ZHONGLI. So with that leaves the support role. We can go for reaction support such as Pyro to round out the team or Electro to create super conduct and benefit Ganyu's normal attacks. So when you have a forkway like this in team building, I usually say just play whatever you want. Both Pyro or Electro can fit here quite well, and it depends on how you like to play the game to decide who you slot in here. Do you want to keep Ganyu on field and just keep auto attacking with her and charge attacks, field control? Then you go with Electro to get super contact and buff her normal attack. Do you prefer to see bigger numbers and play around reaction? Then go with Pyro. There's no right or wrong answer here, and both of them can work. So for the second variation, I want you to use this train of thought and to try and build a team for support Ganyu. You can leave it in the comments below or just do it for yourselves. Try and compare her with other alternatives and see how she can benefit your team. Give this a try and get used to running this train of thought for newer characters and how you want to build newer teams. And finally, let's look at Albedo and Ganyu as characters and decide which one you need to benefit your team. For Albedo, he is a Geo off-field support DPS. For Ganyu, she is a Cryo on-field burst DPS. Out of these two, considering the roles and elements, which one will be more beneficial to have as a free-to-play player? Let's start here. Do you currently have a well-built DPS? Are you struggling with content? If so, what kind? Abyss? Are you lacking damage to clear the Abyss? Or do you have the damage but is dying too often? Look at it like this. Albedo adds survivability and off-field damage for a built main DPS, so his job is to keep the team alive through generating shields and providing additional DPS, all while being off the field. Ganyu provides crowd control and can be used as burst damage in synergy to Pyro. Let's say you have D-Look and is doing well in most content but is lacking synergy. Go with Ganyu. If you have Keqing and has enough damage but is struggling to survive in later stages of the Abyss due to stamina management, Albedo can help alleviate that pressure. There are many variations of these issues and you have to ask yourself, what am I struggling with? And will this character solve that problem? Oftentimes, you will find that neither of the characters can solve your current issue and that another character down the line will. So then, maybe it's better to skip both and go for maybe C1 or C2 on that other character that's coming down the line. And that can really take your game to the next level. There are few must-get characters that are just on another level compared to the rest, and when those come around, it's best to be ready. So do your research beforehand, know your team strength and weaknesses, and cover them the best you can. So with that, I will end the video here. If you enjoyed, remember to like and subscribe and share it. Join my Discord with the link below if you have more questions. And until next time, stay safe and peace.